This is the Run Recap.
Dude, so we're back to our regular scheduled program.
Yeah.
No more little emotions.
Little lighter conversation this time.
Yeah, get that out of the way.
Yeah, maybe. What have you been up to?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
I have been
Just being a bum.
I have, yeah, pretty much. I haven't ran outside since I ran with you.
Okay.
Well, yeah, just because like I have a lot of time to run. They all involve me needing to be at the gym.
Sure.
So I've been doing some treadmill runs. I've been doing, but like I get so bored of treadmill runs. I can get into them for a minute and then I get bored with them. And so I've been doing a lot of like stair climber intervals just to split it up, and just workouts different ways. Like my run workouts have not been good, with the exception of my sprint focus work has been very on point. Like it's been very, very intentional, very good, working on all my speed drills, and my strength for that has been very good. And my track days have been as consistent as they can be. But as far as like normal runs, running more than 2 laps has been non-existent.
I think there's a point that I want to make, because we often, we do this. We're like, oh, not real running, just treadmill running. But treadmill running is way harder. Like for me anyway, like it's so demoralizing. It's difficult. Like the landings feel weird. Everything feels awkward. I mean, it can feel better once you do it a lot, but even then it's still way harder in my opinion. Not to say harder physically, but still hard to get motivated to do anything.
I am in the mindset currently of really wanting to focus on them to get myself in the habit for the winter, so that I will keep it up, so that they won't feel as terrible and awkward and uncomfortable as they do currently. What happened yesterday is I was going to do just 3 miles on the treadmill, my normal routine on the treadmill for my mindset is I go, I tried this before, I go 0.9 and I rest for a 10th, and then I do my next mile faster, and I go 0.9, rest for a 10th, next mile faster. So I was going to do 3 of those. So I just increasing my speed. I hit number 2, I'm sweating, I'm feeling fine, good. I'm watching a movie, and my hand hits the stop button.
Oh no.
And so I'm like, oh shoot. So I just like set it up again, but just that time it took to set up was enough that like I ran for like a quarter, and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, and you're out of your rhythm and everything, and
I got other things to do. I'll go do the rest of my workout and not worry about this. Oh, it was so frustrating. Even though like
they
it wasn't
tough.
that big a deal, I could have continued just fine.
Yeah. But it is. It's exactly that though. It's such a tough mental game, and I kind of wanted to make a point of that. We're going into winter. And I do feel like, you hear from runners that we just got done saying it. Like, I didn't actually run. I went on treadmill. It's like, well, no, that's, I got to get on that too. And the only reason I'm not to, it's not because it's like, oh, not real running. It's like, no, because I really don't want to, because it's so hard. I just don't want to, especially if I'm going to try and get in any kind of mileage. Like 3 miles is about the most that's bearable. And I've run way more, but it is horrible to do.
What's funny also is I found that you needed, for me at least, I need a distraction of some kind for the treadmill run. I need something to take my mind off of it. Shows don't work.
So what do you do?
I need to do music. Even podcasts don't work. Music is the only thing that for some reason in that specific format, stair climber, if I'm on the stair climber, put a movie on, I'm fine. I'll go for days, whatever. It doesn't matter. Running outside, I kind of need nothing is ideal. Music is kind of almost a distraction at that point. Podcasts, depends on my mood. I go in and out of podcasts. But on a treadmill specifically, music is what like really locks me. Well, I mean, it doesn't make it easy, but it makes it better, right? Than it would be ordinarily.
That's funny. I have an opposite feeling with treadmills with that. If I'm going to get any kind of mileage at all, if I'm going to go very far, then I binge watch a show. Just go through episode after. It's got to be something I'm addicted to, and I can just space out, not pay attention to how miserable this whole thing is, and just get into this show, and I'm just going to sit here for an hour or whatever I'm doing, And so I can do that. I can do music. It's probably the one time when I run that I might do really aggressive music. I usually don't do very aggressive music when I run. I'll use it with a nice beat and stuff, just get a nice flow to it. But anything very aggressive, and especially in my old age, it tends to have like a more opposite effect on me, where, I feel like it's yelling at me and I'm like, I know I'm trying and I'm not, and, but on a treadmill I can just get super aggressive and just like, no, hammer this thing out, be tougher than this stupid machine. Maybe it's that I have a battle, like I'm fighting the machine, Where in most running, I don't have any battle. I don't have any, even when I'm racing, it's like, I kind of want to beat that guy. He might be better than me, whatever, it's more about I'm playing a game. I'm not actually being aggressive, and, but treadmills it can get that way where it's like, you gotta be tougher than this thing or something like that. I don't know what's going on. Something weird like that.
What's hard for me, it comes down to one thing on a treadmill, and it's all it is that you can stop whenever you want.
Yeah.
And outside, I don't feel that outside that I can stop whenever I want. I mean, yes, there's certain runs where you're dying for whatever reason, but you feel the pull, like you can stop, you can walk the rest of the way, right? But for the most part, I don't feel that pull. On a treadmill, every single time I'm on there, I know that I can just stop. I don't have to walk home. I'm just where I'm at. I can keep doing whatever I need to be doing.
You don't have the social pressure where you feel like everyone judged me for stopping now because they all know how far I've just, you know what I mean? All the cars driving by. I mean, none of that's really true, but you feel that, like they're seeing that. I gotta push through. I have, people around me. Where at a gym, you're like, I ran, I stopped, I finished my run. This is what I was going to, no one knows your plan.
The need to
anyone really cares anyway.
Exactly. The need to justify myself even when I'm out on a run side of how far I ran or how fast I've gone is stupid. How prevalent it is. Like how much I almost need to tell every runner that goes by, they're like, you don't know, maybe this is my 10th mile, or you don't know how fast my other miles were. Like maybe for all you know, I was running 5-minute pace a second ago. And, I'm having to justify how out of shape I look or feel, right? That they're not even noticing at the time, right?
Well, there is, I saw a meme that said this even, and it registered with me pretty good with, if you are running outside and someone passes you, obviously they're not running as far as you. Clearly, right?
Obviously.
They can't be going as far as I am.
Well, that goes right into kind of what I want to talk about a little bit. How are you going to handle the fall depression that you get into every year?
Not well. I never do. So, and I don't have a trip planned. So, because last year I got to go down to St. George in November and, get that relief from the gloominess and everything. And no, I'm able, and I'm setting myself up for major failure here even. So I'm not going on a trip. I am done racing until next year after, the Jackass half. So not next weekend, but the one after that. So October 5th is my last race. And I'm very purposely not signing up for any of the races. I'm making it very vocal. I am not doing that. I spent too much time this year not really following good training and just suddenly having to peak. And I'm just peaking and peaking and peaking and not getting good fitness underneath all of it. So
now, to pause you real quick, that some people use like the little in-between races as part of their training.
Yeah, but I keep only having like 2 weeks.
Meaning they're not peaking every race or trying to peak every race. They're like, oh, I'm going to sign up for this, 10K and I'm going to run it at this pace because that's part of my training. I know some people do.
I have I've had those thoughts before, and then you start to race, and then everything changes. Then you're like, oh, but what if this time is the time when I could do something way more incredible than I thought I could. Maybe it's this time, you know? And this last weekend, though, I think I did a good job not doing that, actually. So,
okay.
Because this last weekend I had a half marathon on Saturday and the Boulevard 4-mile race on Sunday.
Yeah, let's not get into those yet, though, because I want to hear about your terrible plan.
Stay with how bad everything's going to go for me. Okay, first of all, here's what my plan is and I do this to myself too. I go into fall and I think, you know what, this is a good opportunity to work on myself and really dive into some of the more difficult things, to the difficult time anyway. Let's go ahead and do that. And I can come out of this as a better person because it's fall. There's nothing to do anyway. It's all stupid and it's sad. So let's go ahead and work on yourself through those things, right? And then I end up in a huge depression and it's horrible. And it makes everyone around me, their life miserable too. And so that is what I tend to do. And I'm falling for that exact same trap right now with intention as I do. Because I'm like, well, I'm probably stronger this time. Still a good time to do that, right? I've probably improved over the last year from last year or the year before that. I'm probably a better person where then I can actually maybe work on myself again. But no, what I really want to do is I want things to go so much faster than what I've been able to do before. And I need to build a way better foundation than what I have. So my current foundation is not bad. I'm like, it's just fine. It's good for what I'm doing. I can run at the speeds I'm running, which are not bad times. They're just fine. And but I have a desire to go a ways past that. Like I really want to get down in that, I want my half marathon time to be under 1:30. And I know I can get there, which means I got to be sub 7 minutes for a half, and I want my, and I'd really like, we talk about all the time. I want that 18-minute 3-mile. I want to get down to like I want to be able to run 6-minute pace for a while and feel fine instead of I run 6-minute pace. I'm going to do it for 1 mile. And then I'm in rough shape after that 1 mile. I want to get comfortable at a 6-minute pace real bad. And I think what I'm lacking is I can get way stronger in my baseline fitness and make a better foundation to build off of. And I can I want a substantial amount of time to work on that. And so that's my goal. Is October 5th is my last race. And all I'm doing between October 5th and Bloomsday, actually not Bloomsday, it'll be a little earlier than that, because I'm going to run the split. So it'll be a half marathon in April. But I'm going to do no races in between there. I'm not going to do anything to really try and test my body outside of normal workouts. And I'm going to spend 6 months doing a good job lifting and running consistently and just build this foundation of strength and just work up, for that whole time. And I think that way I'll have the time to mix in the speed workouts when it's appropriate, mix in the long runs when it's appropriate, make sure I'm lifting 3 times a week and make sure I'm getting those things, doing Christy's bar class consistently. So I have my mobility stuff and just keep all that really consistent so I can build and build and build. And then come, end of February, March, start to test that speed, see where I'm at. And, start to build up that, 6 weeks out from the race. Okay, now let's go into an actual training program here for this race. And see where I can be at that point. So
it sounds like you need to do the 800 workout again.
We always do, right?
I was, while you were talking, I was thinking, Mike, I kind of, obviously you talk about following a training program and build up your foundation. And then you bring up the 18s and holding a 6-minute pace. And I'm like, yeah, I'm working on my 100, but also I really want to be able to hold the 6-minute pace for a long time. And
such a fun pace
or faster. And, and so I was like, it inspired me to the idea of maybe I need to do that 800 workout, that 10 rounds, 800 meters, minute-ish rest in between each one, right? Minute or 2 minutes. I don't remember which one. And
I think it was 1 minute. Yeah.
The goal is to, what's the pace it's supposed to be? It's supposed to be your peak 5K pace or your peak mile pace, or
it's made for your marathon pace.
So, well, for us, that's not a marathon pace. That's we were shooting for 6 minute 6-minute pace before, or 5:30, one of those two.
So I set those paces because I took it from I was listening to was it the what's the podcast with the lifter guys?
Which one?
Which one? It's a really famous one.
Okay.
Yeah, I moved my car real quick. Let's see here. Mind Pump, those guys.
Okay, yeah.
So the Mind Pump guys were talking, and then they had somebody you recognize name. I don't remember. It's been too long. But anyway, he was, a big lifter guy, but also could run a 5-minute mile and wanted to train for a marathon.
Gotcha.
And so, anyway, so what the plan that they were talking about was, okay, if you can run a 5-minute mile, basically, if you take your peak 1 mile time, when you then train for a marathon, you should aim for your marathon pace to be 1 minute, 1 minute slower than that. So if you can run a 5-minute mile after you train for a marathon, you then can run a marathon at 6-minute pace.
Oh, so that workout we were doing way too fast.
Not even close. But then I was like, that guy can do it. And he's like a big lifter guy, pretty heavy. I can probably do it too.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? We did a couple times.
And we didn't keep 6-minute pace.
I feel like we got close one time.
Yeah, I definitely I fell off to 6:15 pretty quick.
Yeah, so I think I need to do that. I'm inspired, and I'm saying it out loud that I'm going to do it, and I will maybe even follow up with this. I think I'm going to do that workout once a month, maybe every other month.
That'd be good inspiration to get out.
One time before next year.
Maybe once a year.
So I fell off that. No, but once a month or once every 6 weeks, maybe. Once a month might be unrealistic, just timing wise. But maybe every 6 weeks, I can pop out and do that at 6:15, 6 minutes, something like that. Just keep that in the back of my head. And hey, maybe that'll help me train for Bloomsday, because I would love. I still kind of want to hit that 50-minute mark on Bloomsday, but I know I'm not going to train for it.
Yeah, I think it's doable.
I just have to be able to do it.
Yeah. If we do train all winter, if we do hit that type of workout fairly consistently, I think if I get in shape where I'm around a 1:30 half marathon, I think a 50-minute Bloomsday is very doable. It's within striking distance for sure. And I think
if I work on my sprints all winter, and I do the 800 workout a couple times, and I just think about it real hard, I bet I can do it.
It's a think system.
I bet I bet, it's all about belief, right? If I believe I can do it, I'm sure I can do it.
Visualization, look at yourself doing it, visualize it, think about it.
Yep.
Yeah, you got it.
Exactly. Okay. So are you going to do anything else for your mental state from now until it snows? It's going to snow Thanksgiving, right? It always does. I mean, that's what we expect. So between now and Thanksgiving, we got 8 weeks.
Right.
What are you going to do between now and then to not lose your mind?
I think I'm going to lose my mind, but I'm going to pretend it's not going to happen. I'm just going to live in denial, and I'm just going to work out on our bench, and I'm going to pretend it's not happening. And, it hasn't worked in the past, but I have no better plan than that. So if anyone has any ideas, actually this goes out. If you want to, post underneath any of these things that we post here, is there any ideas for things that to do probably would probably be good. But here's where the trouble is. I need to not, it's easy in the fall to be, self-indulgence, probably the wrong word, but it's close enough, is to just do that. Oh, I feel yucky, so I'm going to then do this thing to just help me feel better, right? So a lot of people, that's what Thanksgiving is, right? We get together, we eat a ton of crap, and then we feel horrible, and then you feel like sleeping, and then so by and we start to hit like instant gratification because it's getting sad outside. It's getting darker so earlier, and and it's just, and everything's dying around you, and this is just miserable out here, and the snow's not falling yet, and we haven't seen the sun in a month, and all those things hit you, and so it's like, okay, I need to just do something to make me feel good right now, and those things that make you feel good right now always make you feel horrible 5 minutes after that, right? So I can go get my like orange slice candies. My orange slice candies make me happy. I have my little sugar boost of those, and I am happy right that moment. But then I feel horrible for a long time after that, because it's just the most disgusting thing I just put in my body, right?
Yeah.
So I do things like things like that, and I can get away with it in the summer because it's also sunny out. I'm like, I'll just boost. What is it? Boosting your cortisol probably or something like that. What's happening? Am I using the right words? Something's happening like that, or just the sugar drug itself, right? Just put some sugar in there. I could use this drug for a moment, and then instead of crashing from the sugar, I'll go outside, or I'll go for a run, or I'll do these things that also then boost everything else up, and it doesn't matter. You don't have the letdown from the sugar or overeating or, even going to a movie, right? Or any of these like instant gratification things. You don't have that letdown because I just go outside and boost everything naturally too and just feel great. Right. And when you don't have that relief, what do we do? How do we do this? So, anyway, I honestly don't know. I've never figured it out. I don't know what fall's for. If my mountain bike was working, that'd probably help.
I don't know what fall is for.
I don't know, right? So so I love recommendations.
Yeah, I love it. I don't know. I have no recommendations for you because it doesn't hit me that hard like that. It doesn't bother me.
Which is shocking to me because you live in perpetual fall over there. Like this is why I can't live where you live. Is we hit you hit that summertime over there. Seriously, when you have a good summer day on the west side of Washington, there is nothing more beautiful than that.
Yeah.
And I know when I lived there, those didn't happen very often. But when they did, man, it felt incredible, partly because you were sun-starved to begin with. Yeah. But then also, it really is. The blues are so blue. The greens are so vibrant. It's almost glowing over there. And then the mountain comes out, and you got, big bodies of water nearby. It's incredible. But the other 9 months are what fall is here. It's just the whole time. And I can't handle that at all. It does not work for me.
I will say that since having kids, it doesn't hit me harder, but it's less enjoyable than it used to be. Because before, I like the gloom, I like the rain, because for me, it embodies like creativeness. And so when I was playing a lot of music and I'm doing a lot of writing and, reading, and you're drinking a glass of whiskey and reading a good book and it's kind of gloomy outside, like it's a fun moment. It's very I don't know, it's a mood, right? It's a vibe is what the kids would say. And so
the kids say.
Yeah. And so I like it. I still look forward to those moments where like it feels super creative, even though I'm not acting on it in any way because I have no time to act on it. I'm like too distracted by life, and instead I'm just sitting on the floor watching Lockwood destroy everything.
Right.
But that's why, honestly, why I like it. I think that's why I always kind of thrive under it, because to me it feels really creative. It feels a little moody. It feels a little like prime for doing something creative. But
I can see the music being a really good outlet for that. And if I was much of a musician, I think that I could totally see that.
Yeah. So I think that's why it doesn't bother me too much. But I was talking to a client yesterday about, he was bringing up like seasonal defective disorder, seasonal affective disorder. And he was like, why do you, or I don't remember what he was asking, but I was telling him like, the way you don't get that is you have something to look forward to. You have a thing that you do during that season. And I threw out the examples of like winter comes and you snowboard or ski or you snowshoe or, like you do those things, but those are all outdoor activities. And he immediately like, well, I don't ski. I'm like, I don't like skiing. I'm like, well, that's not necessarily the point in doing something outdoors. The point, that's ideal. Ideal is you go do something outdoors during the winter because it gets you outside still. But even if it's not, do something that is you do just during that time. Like maybe you pick up bouldering only for the winter, right? Sure. You go rock climb outside or whatever, but during the winter time, that's when I do bouldering, right? That's when I go and do this, because that's the season that this is.
Well, and that would probably work well too, because if you did go to the bouldering gym on a regular basis, stuff like that, you get to know people there. You have community. That also always helps,
Yeah.
One of the reasons Christmas is during the time of year it is literally to help with seasonal depression. So it was picked there in that time so families could get together and give gifts and have that community, and all of that was some of the purpose for that is literally to help us out during the darkest times. Yeah. Especially in Europe back when it was, decided when that was all going to happen.
When it was literally the dark times?
Yeah, literally the dark times. Yeah. And electricity doesn't exist yet and all that. And yeah, it's that'd probably be a little extra rough back then.
Yeah. So you need something, you need a transition sport. I mean, maybe this will do it for you this year. Just like focus on like your workouts and hitting the gym and building consistency and all this stuff. Maybe that'll do it for you this year. But otherwise you need a transition, a very short-lived transition sport.
I think that, and that's what, when I did get into mountain biking for a little bit before I broke my bike, that really did help a lot, because it is ideal mountain biking, until you hit like late November when it just gets nasty. It is ideal mountain biking weather out. And so at some point I need to get a new bike and get back into that, because it is, you get that adrenaline rush from it, and it's just flowy, and it is so fun. And you get outside, you get fresh air and everything.
Right.
You're not too cold because you're working pretty hard, and it is pretty great for that. I think I found the solution. I just can't do it right now. And and Christy and I've talked about getting this fall of getting back out rock climbing consistently too. So summer's been a little too busy for that, and it gets hot. It's hard to rock climb when it's hot. So as it cools down here, that's another plan, and we want to get the kids out doing that a whole bunch too. And so we'll see. With all that put together, it'll probably be the same as it always has been.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's talk about your what are we gonna call it? Your bounce back from retirement. And booking 2 races back to back and having barely any time to train for them. A half marathon, and then the boulevard is 4 miles, right? And then what I heard was you hurt your back like the day before or something.
The week before, I hurt my back. How did I hurt? I don't remember how I hurt my back.
The text that you sent me, and that's what I heard.
I'm back to lifting again. So that's really good. Yeah, I'm huge all of a sudden.
Did you make the mistake of like haven't lifted in a while, go back to lifting and lift what you did before?
Not at all. No, because that is so me. Like I always do that. I did not do that this time. No, I was completely. I did everything exactly the way you should, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get back lifting, but I haven't lifted. I've lifted a little bit for fun. Like Christy and I have played with weights once a month for the last 4 months, and that's it. Like we just happen to be at the gym, finish one of our classes, and like, let's go bench press for fun for a little bit,
Yeah.
So we've done that, and that's been it. So I knew I'm going to this, and I was feeling weak, So like I'm in decent shape, but I'm not strong. It was not feeling like I could lift very much weight at all, and I've been feeling just skinny as can be these days too. And so like there's not much here that's going to do much. So I knew that. So I did basically a mini version of what my normal chest and arm day would be, and so. So I just went down on the bench, and I got so I did some some curls and some Arnie's, and I did some dumbbell presses, and I did everything way lower weight. So I was only curling like 15 pounds, and I did it on purpose. Like, no, we're going light. I could push it and do more, and my dumbbell presses are only at 40s, and so so I took everything down a notch, and while I'm there, like, it's feeling fine, good. That's what I need to be doing. So took it way down a notch, did 40s, but I arched my back while doing it, the way you do when you're pressing. And I think, and my lower back, I just never work out really at all. And so I arched my back and was doing presses, and I felt my back feel like, oh man, that's working a little more than usual. And then the next day it was excruciating. Like it was so bad. And then it was, so I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to really take it easy. I took a muscle relaxer, slept on it, felt quite a bit better after that. And then I still was running every single day because I had the thing coming up, and that kept aggravating a little bit, but it wasn't horrible. And so did that, and then but every night I'd sleep, I'd wake up and it'd be better. And then on Thursday, I went and skateboarded with Kyle. No, first, what did I do that morning? I did something that morning. I don't remember what it was. I did something active that morning, and then I skateboarded with Kyle, and then I also went for a run. And I think bailing off the skateboard just re-triggered it pretty bad.
Oh, no.
And yeah, and so that evening, it was real bad. And on my run, the first mile was excruciating that evening, and then after that, it loosened up while I was running. It felt okay, and got home, and I'm like, I'm not functional at all. I don't know if this is even gonna work. And now I gotta drive to Grand Coulee and sleep in the car.
Yeah,
Friday night. So I wake up Friday morning and I am useless. Like,
oh no,
I'm limping. I'm having trouble doing anything. Like, I'm in rough shape. And so I'm talking to Christy. I'm like, right now I don't even know if I go or not. Like, I just shouldn't even bother. And throughout the day, it just kept loosening up a little bit more. So I told her, I'm just gonna drive over there, and I sleep in the car. And the way this route works is you start on the far side of Grand Coulee Dam, and then you run across the dam and then up out of the valley there. And at the 3 mile mark is actually where the finish line is. So you go up 3 miles, and then you run past the finish line, come back, and then you finish. So I told her, like, at the 3 mile mark, if it's just hurting so bad I'm gonna hurt myself, I'm just done. Yeah, that's fine. I'll just not worry about it. Yeah. And so that's easy. Yeah, right. My car's right there, so everything's fine. We don't have to have medics drive me back, and I really want to do that. Like, I don't want to put myself in risk to where all of a sudden, like, I actually need help and someone has to come get me and take me back to my car, so I'm not going to push that hard at all. There's no point in doing that. And on top of that, what am I even doing? This race looks like a really fun race. Running across Grand Coulee Dam, running out in the desert, just looked like fun. That's why I signed up for it. Right. And so, I'm not going to get injured over going to try and have some fun. Yeah. So anyway, and then just before I left, Christy was like, hey, we talked about me trying to massage your back, work it out a little bit before you go. You want to hang out a little bit longer? Let's work on it and see if that can help. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Right. So she spent about 15 minutes is all just throwing my back in that area, just pushing really, really hard. And it felt quite a bit better after that. And then I drove there, and I had one of the best night's sleep in the back of the car. Like, I just had my bed set up back there so good. And, nice. And I slept wonderfully and woke up with literally zero pain. Like, just nothing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, oh, this is great. Like, not even, just a hint where it's like, okay, this is going to hurt after I'm done running. And I'm like, no, it's gone. Like, she got it to calm down. And then the sleep was just right to help it stay there. And yeah, it was really, really good. So
that's perfect. Yeah. So how'd the run go then?
And the run went really good too. So I was there. I was feeling, well, first of all, I woke up in the morning. It was like 40 degrees out when I woke up. So it's real chilly, but it's going to get 65 degrees or so during the run. So still not that hot, but with direct sun the whole time. There's no shade on this run at all. As soon as the sun rose up high enough anyway. So, anyway, this run was set up really, really well, as some of these small town ones are, where like the whole town kind of has a thing around it. Like there's bands playing, there's all kinds of booths out all over the place. Like the whole little town gets together to put on this big event, and those are always just a blast. So anyway, they did a really great job on this thing. And so you park at the finish line, they bus you down in real nice buses, like charter buses, down to the far side of the dam, because you're not really allowed on the dam anymore unless you're like part of a tour. Like since 9/11, they locked all that stuff down. Yeah. So anyway, so I went, so got down there, and then they say you start, and they do a fun thing they do is the dam itself is 1 mile long. So you get two different times. So you're racing the dam mile, and then your full half marathon also. So there's a speed trap there. And anyway, so yeah, took off and was immediately like in second place. Like everyone kind of took off real slow. I'm kind of looking around like, were we going? What's happening? Am I missing something? What's happening here? I don't want to take off too fast. I know I've got a good hill coming out of this. I know I'm not trained right for this. Then, I'm still kind of a little scared that maybe my back might still pop up mid-run, but,
Yeah.
So going across there, and I, finished that in second place, and then, across there, and then another guy passed me, and we're going up that. A couple of the guys running the 10K went by me, because they were running a much faster speed than I was.
Yeah.
And climb up out of there, and as the first 3 miles are all uphill, besides the, so you got the dam, then you have 2 more miles of uphill. And went across, was going up that, and I just was like, I got a long ways to go. I'm not in a rush. I'm just going to take it easy here, and if I need to pick up some speed, I got plenty of places to pick up speed later, and it ran through that, and it was just a really peaceful, wonderful run. And
what was your mile?
My mile, I ran it in, I think it was 7:15, something like that.
Okay.
So a little faster than what I planned on my pace being for this thing. I was going like 7. Actually, I was really going to plan on, if I ran right around 8 minutes, according to last year's time, I had a potential, if I average 8-minute miles, according to last year's times, I could possibly win the whole thing. Oh, so yeah. So like, okay, that's what I was planning on ahead. So I'm like, I can run a half marathon at 8-minute miles. I'm not really trained for a half marathon, but I can do it just fine. And ended up running fast. I was running basically around 7:20, 7:30 most of it, and felt just real good. Just was in a rhythm there, and it was really great. And then so you go out to the 8-mile mark is where then you turn around and come back. And if you know the area at all, it goes out to Banks Lake is where it goes out the turnaround point. It's a climbing area that Christy and I often went to. Also where I proposed to Christy was right at the turnaround point, basically. So went out there, and then at the turnaround, I started feeling like, man, I am hitting kind of the end of what my where my training's at. I'm trained real good for around 7 miles. I just hit 8. This is getting really hard. And I look back, because you can see down, it's just a long, straight, like big valley of a road. So I could see all the way back anyone. And I'm looking back, and and I'm solidly in 3rd place right now. The 2 guys in front of me are probably at least a third of a mile ahead of me. I'm looking back. Yeah. The guy in 4th is at least a half mile behind me. So I got to the water station. I was really thirsty. I just full on stopped. Hung out with the people, talked with them for a little bit, drank some water. Just like hung out.
You texted me this?
Like what?
You texted me this. I thought you were joking. I thought you were around.
Totally true. Like, I just full on hung out. Here, hang on. I got to move real quick. They're fixing some tree stuff here because we had a big windstorm last night.
Yeah.
I'm going to get out of their way. There we go. Should be better here. There we go. Anyway, so I got there, and I just noticed, like, okay, well, I get to get 3rd place. That's great. I'm not really in get rid of that beeping. There we go. Car's mad at me. So anyway, I got there, like, hey, I'm gonna be stoked if I get 3rd place. That's just gonna be fun. That's anytime I can get in the top 3, I'm happy. And like at this point, unless I have to walk, I should be just fine. So anyway, got to the turnaround, was running back, and man, after the turnaround, it hits this uphill that's about 1.5 miles long, about a 2% grade. So just enough where you can tell it's an actual hill, but it's not significant at all. It's just pretty demoralizing for a long time. Also, again, I've already passed where my training's at, right? So I'm going, and it's going fine, but I am getting slower and slower through this. Got over that, got down, finally got to about the 11-mile mark. Hit another water station there. Again, I stopped, drank water, threw it away, started going again, but didn't try and like drink while running or anything. Just stop. I'll go ahead and do it. And then, got a fruit snack out of my pocket to start sucking on too, because I knew that was going to, be a problem here too, because I've been running for a while. And then at the last water station, where I've only got about 1.5 miles left, again, stopped, hung out with him for a little while. Like, again, I'm looking back, I'm like, he's still a half mile back there. I'm fine. So Yeah, so I drank some Gatorade, hung out with them, filled up some water, drank that. We talked about the race and stuff, and and then they're like, "Oh, maybe you need to get going or something." I'm like, "No, I'm good. I got a while still. I'll hang out for a little bit longer. I'll give my legs a rest." And so we just hung out there, and then got a little more rested, then took off, finished the last mile and a half, and it was just great. So
that's hilarious.
Went through the finish line. I won. So they had cool medals there, and I won a bottle of champagne for winning my age group. And it was super fun.
You won your age group, got third overall, and you half-assed it.
I whole-assed the first 8 miles.
Okay, arguable.
and then it was like, no, we're not. There is no need. If I push really hard, I'm still going to get third. If I take it really easy, I still get third. What's the point here? And I'm not going to PR this thing. Like it was too hard of a course. Right. Like for sure, I'm not running this. Like 134 is my fastest. I'm not running a 134 today. It's just not happening. So why push that hard? There was no incentive for that. Time? 144, 145, I think, something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think had I, I think that had I not stopped those times, my running would have just deteriorated really, really, really bad. And I probably maybe would have been a minute and a half faster, overall. Yeah. But it wouldn't have made much difference, real honestly. I just was not in good enough shape to really push that thing. So, but it was really fun, though. I had a blast.
Okay, so that one's good. And then the very next day, you had a 4 mile.
The next day, I wake up and my legs are feeling pretty, actually that night even, my legs are feeling stiff. Like I'm pretty rough after that. Okay, well, the next day, it's just 4 miles. I can run 4 miles. It's okay. So, so we got down there, parked way too far away because we just did it all wrong. Next year, we'll do it better. And we were skeptical about this. You and I talked about this with the Boulevard. They changed the course because of some construction stuff, they couldn't run through downtown like they did last year. So a different course where there's 2 full-on turnarounds in the middle of a 4 mile course. There were way more people there this year. So there was like, I don't know how many exactly, but I mean, it was a busy race. Not Bloomsday size, but next to Bloomsday, one of the biggest races I've done. So, there were thousands of people there. Okay. And it was organized super, super good. Like just really, really well. So just as far as where you needed to go and win and everything. And, they had music playing the whole time, beach balls flying around. They introduced the professional runners just like last year. And my starting place, though, I got into the corral that I needed to be in like way too late. So I got in there, Kat and I lined up together. And but I couldn't squeeze forward up to the front of this group. And the fastest group, similar to Bloomsday, basically, if you can run 9-minute miles or faster, that puts you in the fast group.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that's how that bracket works. And I'm sitting towards the back of this group. And I know, even sore and stuff, I'll be going faster than 9s, and but, again, I'm not too worried about it. Real honestly, I thought I was going to run like 7:30s is what I was kind of planning on. Cause like, I'm sore. That's just the way it is. And, so this one, took off on this one and I was boxed in immediately, like just bad, really, really boxed in. And so it took me a half mile to even just get to where it was cleared out enough to where I could get into a pace where I felt comfortable. And hey, at that point, Kat did just like she did for Bloomsday. She found a different lane than I did. I should have just followed her. She was way ahead of me. At the half mile mark is when I finally caught Kat because she was running 7 minutes for that first half mile. I don't know what pace she was going. She was moving though. Anyway.
Oh my God.
They did an amazing job of around every corner. There was new music and a new theme and new stuff happening. And so it's this little 4 mile race where it's quick, but also there's just so much stuff happening around every corner. And they had like, they had the Ferris marching band was out there at one point. They had multiple DJs. They had a bubble foam thing going across in one place. That was kind of annoying. I definitely avoided that because, like, with Spokane streets, I'm not going to take a step where I can't see where it's waiting on the road.
Not a chance.
But they had stuff like that happening around every corner. It was constant, and you could run this without headphones, and it would have been super entertaining because there was just music and things happening constantly. And and so also like the Gonzaga basketball players were out there giving high fives to everybody, and like multiple groups of people doing that. A bunch of charities had different spots to cheer you on. And anyway, it was just kind of like, Bloomsday has that, but it's more spread out because it's 7 mile. If you took the same amount of things that happen over 7.5 miles on Bloomsday and just condensed it down to 4 miles, so it was just constant. It was really cool, which then like hyped you up a bit to where you had to keep going. Or Uncle Bo, his band is out there playing too.
Oh, fun.
And I guess Gamma Knife is one of the main sponsors and stuff, and so they got a stage to be able to play for their band and stuff. And so he was at the 1 mile mark. But I hit the 1 mile mark, and I look down, and I'm sub 7 minutes, and I feel great. I'm like, wow. Well, I guess I'll keep doing this. So I did that, and I just kept picking up, and overall ran a 26 and change, and I averaged 6:33 was my average pace.
That's great. That's really good coming off a half marathon.
Did not think my legs had in them, and I didn't push so hard. It's not like I finished and I was like, oh, I'm gonna puke or anything like that. It's like, oh, I finished and I'm tired. I don't want to go again. I don't have another mile in me, but I wasn't dead. I didn't just destroy myself. No, I just ran a really good, strong pace that was really fun.
How was the turnarounds? You said there were 2 full turnarounds in the 4 miles.
The first turnaround, you actually go, just after the 1 mile marks, you're kind of coming down a hill, and it's a fairly steep but really short hill right up. And at the peak of the hill, you turn around and come right back down. That one was not bad because you already got slowed down from going up. So the turnaround, you have to slow down to turn around, and then you can get your pace right back going again by going right back down. So that one didn't even affect me at all. That was, I hit that. I'm like, oh, we can do those. That's fine. The next turnaround, though, was more on a flat space, and there was a whole charity there doing like some charity thing. Like, I was running fast, so I couldn't tell what they were doing, but they were like handing out things to put on your wrist and stuff like that. And the whole group of them kept closing in, so the turnaround had to be fast. Yeah, there wasn't room to like swing out and come around and hold the pace at all. It was like up, turn around, and go right back. And that was that. It took me a good 4 or 5 steps to get back to where I needed to be again. That was pretty rough on that one. The coolest thing about these turnarounds, though, is that you get to see everybody. So I get to watch the elite runners run twice, right? Because then they run by me, and then the next turnaround they run by me again. And I can kind of see where I'm at in comparison. I was I think I got 116th or something like that. Okay. And so, anyway, so that's not that many people to see go by, and you're just watching the faster runners. And now if you go by that, then you're watching the slow runners in you too. So you can see, if you got friends ahead of you or behind you, you can cheer on your friends as you also go by them. And so it was really fun in that way that you kind of got to see everybody the whole time. Yeah. And that's cool. Overall, just an amazingly well-run event and just really, really fun. Yeah, you got to come out and do it next year for sure. Like, no matter what the course is, these guys, they run a good enough race. It won't matter where the course is. They just do it right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I'll definitely I gotta make a point next year to make that happen. I'm glad you did this year because I would have had to run faster again, and I was glad that you weren't there, so we didn't both. I was glad I didn't because I wasn't in shape for it. I was thinking all summer, I'm like, okay, I'm working on my hundreds, and I'm also gonna work on my 3-ish mile pace, right? And that length of, I'll just keep on doing my normal runs, and I'll just really work on my speed and be fine. And I just didn't all summer. Like, I mean, I did a couple of my normal runs, but like not near, like we traveled so much on so many weekends that I just didn't have the time that I usually do. So I'm glad I didn't come over either, because that would have hurt so bad.
Well, we would have pushed short enough that fast. Again, we still would have just pushed each other hard the whole time without even knowing we're doing it. We just would have. We always do.
Yeah, unintentionally. Yeah, the pace would have just picked up and picked up. We would have been like low 6s and dying the entire time. Yeah, because like at the shape I'm in right now, I'm not out of shape. But at the shape I'm in right now, I know that I could run 6:20s, 6:15s. If I have someone else there pushing me to do it for 4 miles, I might throw up after. No, I take that back. I've never thrown up from a distance run.
Oh man.
I'm trying to think. Yeah. I've thrown up a lot from workouts. A lot.
Yeah.
I've never thrown up from a distance run.
Oh, I have countless times.
Man, all of my throwing up has been from intervals and speed work and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The worst one I've ever had, I've talked about this before, but the worst one I ever had was having to throw up in the middle of a workout and then keep going.
Yeah.
That one was the worst thing. We used to do 150-meter sprints as a test twice a season, so 4 times a year, beginning of the season, end of the season, or towards the end of the season at least. And whether they're outside or they were inside, didn't matter. And the rest was full recovery, which full recovery, when you're in really good shape, means 90 seconds, right?
Right.
You know, especially from a sprint, right? So, and it's 100% because we're tracking the fall off of 6. So 150-meter sprints at 100%. Everything you got, we're tracking. How much you're going to fall off? How in shape are you, right? How fast are you going? And then how much you falling off for all 6. And it didn't happen every year, but there were a couple of times where, like, especially indoors, because it's earlier in the season or in the year, and I hit like 4, and I'm just finding the garbage can as soon as I can, and it's all coming out. And then they're like, 30 seconds, let's go. And I'm like, my God.
Yeah.
But from distance runs, I mean, I've had runs, long distance runs where I've nearly collapsed at the end, but like they never get my stomach. They never get me like that. They don't hit my nervous system that way where I need to just like purge everything out. Sounds terrible. Okay, so next is we'll do this. When you tell me when you're gonna do an 800, 10 800s.
Okay.
And I'll make sure to do it too. It sounds terrible and like a lot of fun right now.
I think I'll wait till probably end of October. I don't think I should do it before the next race because I think that I should just.
Oh, right, because that's right. You got the Jackass one. You have to do. Yeah. Now this is interesting. Because of a clerical error on your part, you have to do the Jackass half marathon twice, right?
You can go over and do it with me if you want.
You signed up for it 2 times on accident, and so that means that you have to repeat it. Right? Is that what that means?
Now I got to run a full marathon, I guess. Because I signed up and then like way back, like when they first released the thing, I was like, oh yeah, I'm obviously doing this for sure. So I just signed up. And then the thing popped up of like, we're going to sell out. There was only like 5 spots left. Like, oh man, I better jump on and grab that real quick. And I went and grabbed that too. I'm like, oh, what the heck?
Oh man, you tried to talk me into doing it. And I was trying to tell you that Bloomsday is the farthest I've ever ran. No, I take it back. I ran 1 mile further than Bloomsday before. And that's it. So going from 8 miles to 13 and a half is just, I don't know what to say about that. It's just stupid. I don't understand the concept of how that would work.
There's a different enjoyable thing about it. I think, that's really, really nice. But I find it way less stressful than those shorter races. So the half is great. You can make all the mistakes in the world and you got a long time to fix them. So the fun thing I got going on now, Nick, I got Bennett is running cross country.
Oh, right.
And
I heard that.
In first grade for cross country, they actually only have 1 time trial, and then they have all city if they qualify, and that's it.
Okay.
And they race a half a mile, and so he's been training for this thing and been working on it. Today he has his time trial, and we're gonna go watch him do his time trial and see. He has to be able to run a half mile under 4 minutes to qualify for all city. With his little legs, at 8-minute mile pace is so fast.
I bet.
It's probably the equivalent of around like 5:30 for us. Like it is moving. Like you're looking over just how fast his cadence is, and like that is a fast pace. He and I went out last night in the windstorm to do our own little test. I just wanted to show him what 8-minute mile pace was. So we just ran an 8-minute mile pace for a bit, just so we get used to what that pace was, so he get ready for today. And anyway, he's pretty excited. We have 2 goals. One is if he makes the whole way with no walking, then he wins an ice cream cone.
Nice.
And if he qualifies for all city, then he gets to pick out the dinner and dessert for the whole family, and we're all going to get the thing that we're all going to do the thing that he wants to do for that if he qualifies, because that's going to be a big deal. And that pace for him for half mile is going to be really tough. So we'll see how he does, but he's been loving it and doing so good. It's been really fun.
Awesome. That's so much fun. This is first grade, you said?
First grade, yeah. And so next year in second grade, he'll actually get to do more meets, but in first grade, they just don't have enough buses to get everyone to all the meets and stuff. So
of course,
there's not the logistics for that many kids, but
man,
pretty cool that opportunity's there.
I'm really curious to see how he's going to do.
Yeah, we'll see how he does. Obviously, I'll take tons of videos and stuff. And I'm realizing as a parent, Mom and Dad used to say this, they'd come to my cross-country races, and I still feel this way about a lot of my races. People come to watch, and I feel weird about it, because, like, you're going to see me take off for 10 seconds. Then you just got to hang out for, like, an hour, and then you see me for another 10 seconds. Like, it's really, I mean, I get it. If you don't want to come, I get it. I told her, this can't be too great for you. You know, like, I understand. Yeah. But watching cross-country is so much fun as a parent, because what you actually do is you run from one point to another point to be able to see the whole race. So you're going to be here, and then, like, they pass this section. Okay, we're going to catch them again over here where we can see a couple other turns. So we're going to run over to that section and watch that section. And it's just this exciting thing where you just get to bounce all over the place. For Payson and Lucas got to do it, and I'm excited to do the same thing for Bennett here, where it's just, as a spectator, it's so active that it's really, really fun, actually.
Oh, man, that's awesome. I used to feel similarly about pole vaulting spectators, because, like, I'm only going to do it for a little bit, and I don't know when that is, but it starts when the track meet starts. And so I you know, come, but not enjoyable the way you're describing cross country meets. Like, as a spectator, you're just sitting there forever. You're
sitting there, bleachers, freezing. I know, I did it a lot.
I'm like, I get it. I get, if you don't come, it's fine. It's not a big deal.
Hey, at least you made pole vaulting pretty exciting several times.
I tried to, you know,
Maybe
tried to make it.
It should have been.
No, that was only that was a couple times. A few times made it exciting.
You had a few exciting ones.
I took Lockwood to the track on last weekend for the first time, and he, you know, we watch a lot because of me. We watch a lot of track, and so he knows a lot about track and the running, the jump, and whatever. And he was. I asked him the day before, I'm like, "What? Do you want to go to a track sometime?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he like demonstrated, like, we're gonna do this. He like got down and he started running, started sprinting. We're running, we're gonna jump and do all these things. And so I've never seen him so excited to do something. It like ever. So it was fun. Hilarious. I didn't think he was gonna be that excited. We parked on the street and there was like a soccer game going on, so lots of people. And we parked on the street and we got on the sidewalk and he just like booked. Started like running as fast as he could. I'm like, Look, hold on, wait. I mean, you're only 3, so you're going to, like, burn yourself out. Let's wait till we get to the track, and then we can run a little bit more. He was so pumped. It was hilarious. It was the cutest thing.
When you can find things that simple that kids absolutely love, right? Like, where you don't, I didn't have to go buy a bunch of stuff. I didn't pay a bunch of money for an exciting thing. No, we just go to a track, and, like, and just running fast is fun, and it is. And that's, it's so good.
And he made it, like, 3/4 of a lap. He almost made it. Around an entire lap, you know, kind of running.
Yeah, that's a long race with little legs, you know.
Yeah. Okay, I got to bounce here. When's the Jackass?
October 5th.
Okay.
So
October
not
5th.
This weekend, but the following weekend.
Nice. Okay. Mm-hmm. Dude, exciting. Do you have a goal for it? Do you have an intention?
I suddenly think that I might be in good enough shape to PR this thing. So I'm going to aim at it. This last weekend felt really good. So I think I'm going to get a couple long runs in between now and then, but I think I might get in that 134 range. And I'm going to aim for it and see what happens. So
basically I got to run. Go ahead.
No, basically I need to run right around, I got to run low 7s for the majority of it.
Okay.
And so if I run low 7s, take a little bit easy on the hills. Yeah.
Is it a course that's going to be, like, is it a good course to PR on?
Yeah, it's a very easy course. It has 2 hills in it. Besides that, you're at a 1% downhill grade the rest of the time.
Okay.
So it finishes, the last half mile is a pretty tough uphill. and it has one uphill like at mile 7 that's not very tough, and that's it. Besides that, it's a downhill course. So it is ideal for going pretty fast. And I think I gotta. It's where I set my last PR, so I'm gonna try and PR for this course. And if I don't make it, that's fine. I am not trained up near to the degree I was when I did it last time, but I'm feeling pretty good. And so I'm thinking that the workouts from those last races, the amount of time I have to recover between that and this next one, it should line up pretty good actually to do pretty well here.
Yeah. It's awesome. Okay. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for Bennett's race. I'm excited for your next race. And we'll see how we do.
Sounds good. All right. We'll talk soon.
All right. Later.
All right. See you.